What is going on, everyone? Anthony Drew Gary here, and on this week's episode of the How To Show, we get to have some fun. I get to interview a friend of mine from my college years who has broken into the radio world, and he's done it with a vengeance, really. He's made a name for himself in the Atlanta radio market as a radio personality, and we're going to basically talk about how to become a radio personality. He is a great example of what you can become if you put in the work and you have a little bit of grit along the way. And so nobody can tell his story better than him. So we're going to bring on Sam Sirmons now. Sam Sirmons, welcome to the How To Show, my man. This has been a long time coming.
I'm glad to be here. This is exciting for me to be on the other end of the interviewing portion. So I'm good to talk to a familiar face with a great friend as well.
Well, I appreciate that. And for those of you who don't know Sam is an on-air personality at Magic 107.5 and 97.5 out of the Atlanta radio market. But I know Sam from many, many, many years before that. We went to the same college, and I ultimately met Sam because we played in an intramural basketball league together. And I got all my friends together, and we got our butts kicked most weeks. But what happened was I met a lot of cool people, including this really charismatic dude who would walk the baseline and the sidelines between games we were playing with a microphone, announcing the games, but telling you what was going on in different capacities. And I knew this guy had charisma. And when I found out later on that he was going to be one of my residents when I was a resident assistant, the whole world came to continue to just have our paths cross. And it was a lot of fun. And ultimately, I figured out he's a TCOM student. He wants to break into radio. I'm thinking to myself, well, yeah, of course he does. That is exactly what he is set up to be. It makes total sense to me. And I wanted to bring Sam on because that is an industry that I know is ultra competitive. And you've got to bring it every day. You got to put your best foot forward. And so I want Sam to share some of his story in how he made it from being somebody who was doing some projects at the university and some side things at the university to being on the air every day as his day job. And really, breaking into an industry that is ultra competitive and building himself as a brand, because you are looking at Sam. Sam is his brand on the radio. This is what you get. So, Sam, again, welcome to the show. Talk to me a little bit about your story, and we can start at the very beginning. How'd you find out or decide that you wanted to be in radio?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me on this incredible show. It's an honor. It actually goes back to where we initially met in the West Side East Side Basketball Association, and I was just doing some in-game announcing, and I wish I could remember this person as I owe them maybe 2 or 3 checks by now. But they basically were letting me know that, hey, you should really try this radio thing out here at Ball State. And I'm like, that sounds cool, whatever, but I'm not really taking them that seriously. I was going to be, a business administration manager and just handle that. I was going to own a studio, and I was just going to have a whole bunch of people come in, record their maybe not so great music and take all their money and just be successful that way. But what ends up happening is I go to the CCIM Super Party where I am met with the WCRD table, and I'm like, well, this is the radio, and we're going to see what this is like, and really changed the whole trajectory of my whole life from that one moment. And doing the training, was able to have a 1 hour special show on Ball State's campus, and it's Feel Good Fridays, and it just felt like what I was doing in that moment for that 1 hour was what I absolutely have to get done as a career. So I switched everything up. I started just doing all the research I could and trying to make my show as special as it could, and just trying to meet the needs of an underserved population in the Muslim community when it comes to urban music. So I was able to, get with the team, and we're able to start the Loud Pack show. And then we did, events my senior year. And from hosting a movie night during a Super Bowl event, one of the event places that actually housed one of the designated NFL sanctioned places in Indy, to do that, to have a charity weekend, which was almost 12 years ago, which is crazy to think about, but how we, raised a whole bunch of funds and canned goods and clothing for the Musty Mission, and just kind of wanting to be like, okay, we got to take it to the next level. So I was applying to stations in Indianapolis. I'm just like, I'll take whatever job you have. I didn't care what it was. I just wanted to just get in my foot in the door. Fortunately, I never got any callbacks. I never got anyone to respond back to any emails or messages or anything like that. So, very, very fortunate to have my best friend's older sister. She was dating someone in Atlanta that also worked for a station. He was like, you should just come intern for us. I'm like, great, I'll do that. Whatever they want me to do, I'm willing to do. So I end up interning at V103 Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest is history. I feel like I started from the ground floor and just, from grabbing Chick-fil-A downstairs and making copies and finding music to actually starting to contribute to the Ryan Cameron morning show at the time, which was only the sixth morning show in that station's history. And as a legacy station, it's something that you kind of you don't really understand until you leave it. And just the magnitude of that show and the power that show possessed at the time, still second to none. What we did in mornings, people are still trying to imitate. But, just going from an intern and learning programming and learning promotions and learning how the sales team, how they work the station, learning that from the very beginning has made me very, very well versed into where I'm at today. And when there's a client that needs this or a client that was requesting that, I'm like, okay, I know what they're using it for. Let's make sure we make them as happy as possible so they can come back and we can do repeat business. You always want the bottom dollar has to make the most sense. So if you lay the foundation, everything else is going to be cake from there. So I'm grateful to have, several very productive and very lucrative relationships now. But it just came down to understanding, like, this is what I knew I wanted to do. This is how I felt like I was walking in my purpose for the first time in life. And to be as successful as I am right now, currently in market number 7, number 1, like the last 4 months in a row, which is right now in the radio's landscape due to COVID. You really can't predict people's listening patterns and whether they're going to be listening at home or on the go, if they still got to take kids to school, things like that, because we can't necessarily guess it like we used to. Still being number 1 on the station, top to bottom, not just the show. The show's always done well, but now the station is a force, and I'm grateful to be a part of that.
It's exciting to hear all of that, man, because I knew you when you were first getting into it, and to be able to find something that fills you up and to find an avenue that is not linear by any stretch of the imagination. You had to hit the ground floor running, as you mentioned, making copies and going and getting the Chick-fil-A for the people that came before you who did their time in the same sorts of roles. And for you to be able to do this, by way of a couple of connections early on in a market like Atlanta. You mentioned that, Atlanta is one of the biggest markets in the country for not a lot of different things, and radio is not the least of that funnel. And so talk to me a little bit more about how you make yourself memorable in those first couple of months, maybe even those first couple of years, that, hey, this Sam guy, not only does he have the radio talent or the personality or the charisma, but he's committed to being here and he is going to do whatever it takes to be successful.
I think it was just more so I would come early, leave late, and I'd be there 6 or 7 days a week. I wanted this bad. Like, I came down to Atlanta with just $300 and all of my belongings in my car. Like, there was really no plan B because my plan A had to work.
Yep.
It was without any shot of a doubt that I'm like, okay, you see there's successful people that you're going to be working around. You got to make yourself one of those successful people. And I quickly learned that who I was interning under had a pretty good roster of people that came before him, such as Lala Vasquez, such as a Ludacris, such as a Ronnie Jordan, such as a TV personality in Atlanta, Naima Abdullahi. I felt that I need to be the next success story. There's no reason why I can't take myself to the next level, working who I'm working for, working where I'm working, and not take this all the way to the top. So understanding that you got to want this better than the next person. I've absolutely been in competition with people in my peer group where, okay, so are you going to be chosen or are they going to select someone else? And I always made sure, like, I'm not going to make this easy for anyone else. And I don't believe you can take this spot. I believe that I'm cut for this. I'm built for this. And I'm not going to let anything get in the way of that by any means.
Yeah, and I love the tenacity behind it, and you're going to do whatever it takes to get to where you need to be. Talk to me a little bit. We'll shift a little in terms of mentorship. I know that there are ultra competitive industries that can be incredibly cutthroat. I'm not gonna send the elevator back down for you because it was a hard ride for me up. Talk to me about relationship building and a mentoring sort of framework that you can, be useful to those folks while taking in all of their experiences and, potentially getting the opportunity to learn from somebody else's mistakes rather than you having to make them yourself.
Well, I was fortunate enough to be able to learn by trial by fire. Like, there's things that are gonna work, there's things that are absolutely not gonna work. You're never gonna try again. But you also have to have the people around you that are gonna, like, okay, this person is very, very new. They have the energy, they have the tenacity to get things done, but you gotta walk them through. And for me, I was grateful to have as many black women at V103 that really understood, like, okay, if you want it, I'm going to teach you how to do it, and then you got to get it yourself, because I have it. Either you want it or you don't. And I saw a lot of people that kind of was like, okay, cool, but I'm just like, no, I want it. And I didn't want to let them down, because when people can stay late and are showing you the ins and outs, past their normal work schedule, anything like that, and are truly genuine and to pour into you, you want to make sure that return on investment is one that's very, very high. So for me, I've been very, very grateful to have the amount of mentors that I have from past, present, and even the future ones I know I'm gonna have, because I don't feel like I'll ever become to like this radio giant figure that won't learn anything and can't continue to grow. But even for me being a mentor to a lot of Ball State students now, it's like, I'm gonna give you the root, I'm gonna give you the blueprint, I'm gonna give you the rubric, everything you need to be successful, so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. But you've also got to put in the work. So I'm not gonna just hand you over this position, because it's limited. There's only so many frequencies, there's only so many slots, and once you find your way into one, it's your job to keep it. So as much as you can say, like, oh, I'm a personality, I'm a producer in a top 7 market, there are hundreds of thousands of people that want my spot, and at no point am I gonna make it any easier for them.
Yeah, I think you've got the exact right mindset on it, and especially the framework and the mentoring there, that you've always got somebody pouring into you, and you've got avenues that you're pouring into the next generation. I know that you were back at our alma mater just recently pouring into the next generation, so kudos to you for doing things like that, because it's important for you to find yourself in both positions all the time. So let's pivot one more time. I want to hear the story of you getting on the air in Atlanta for the first time. Are you shaking in your boots? Are you sweating profusely? Did you stumble on your words? What were you talking about? Was it an advertisement for from car dealership? What's the story there? I want to know, Sam. First day on the hot mic.
Man, I'll probably go back to when I was still an intern,
Yeah.
and the host asked me, like, you got to give the station number. Now it's in big, bold numbers and letters on the board. And I said, wait, you want to give me my phone number? Like, it was just like, I'm having an out of body moment, because I'm just like, I'm hearing the question, but I'm not there yet. My timing isn't right. So I had to take that, that small L, and it's like, all right, you ain't ready yet. And I'm like, all right, that's fine, that's cool. I'm behind the scenes, but my first time as a personality in Atlanta came on, like, oh my goodness, like maybe in like October of 2018. I'm getting on the board. It's overnight, so like I'm thinking no one's really listening, but I do have a pair of tickets to give away, so maybe one person will make the phone ring. And I'm just, reading the liner, reading information, and also soliciting for the contest. And my phone line lights up, and I'm like, oh wow, like Atlanta's awake right now. Like, I'm thinking I'm sleeping. Oh, I'm not thinking of like the third shift crew, the factory workers, the Amazon drivers, the Lyft drivers, like whatever the case may be, people that are working in hospitals. Like, they're still up and they're still wanting to be entertained. I didn't want, and that's when I knew I couldn't throw any time on the air in Atlanta away. There's always someone listening. You got to be mindful of that. So I learned by accident both times, like, oh, my bad. Like, so just kind of being ready for the moment is what I'm more prepared for now. I don't think I've ever been per se nervous, but was I just like anxious to get on the radio? Absolutely.
Yeah, people like their free concert tickets. So yeah, the board lit up for you. That doesn't surprise me much. That's a lot of fun. And so let's maybe I probably should have started with this, but tell me in a deep dive, who is Sam Sirmons now in the radio personality space in Atlanta?
Sam Sirmons is someone that cares for the community. One where I want to say I'm as in tune with what's going on in the world as you are, and I have to be extremely knowledgeable about the world we're currently living in. Mm-hmm. I can't just, put my head down and expect, the prep services to do the work for me. No, I'm actually every morning getting up and figuring out, okay, what happened overnight, what's getting ready to happen. I got to, call the mayor's office, like, hey, when can we have him in? I got to be able to talk to the White House and like, okay, I see you have this guest. Can we have him on the show? Mm-hmm. I'm just someone that has to be as informed and entertaining as possible, because I honestly know that you have so many other selections in a market like Atlanta to tune out and just be like, all right, well, that's cool, but what are they doing? It's my job to not only grab your attention, but to keep your attention for 4 hours at a time. And I've been fortunate enough to have done that relatively well the last few months.
Yeah, I can't speak highly enough to get to see you at different bits and pieces throughout the way. I'm not in the Atlanta market, but it's fun to watch your trajectory as it's changed and grown over the years. And so right now on Magic 107.5 and 97.5, you're in an afternoon's time slot, right?
Correct.
Okay, and so you're covering you're an on-air personality covering everything from the space between musics to the space between advertisements to the promos to sometimes the news. What am I missing here? What other jobs are you doing behind the scenes that nobody would know about if they've never done your job?
Man, it's I'm like the social media person. I'm handling all our web presence. I'm making sure we are as interactive as humanly possible. If there's something that breaks, we got to get it to you first, and it's not something that we can, we'll talk about tomorrow. Like, no, if there's something that happens in your neighborhood that you need to know about, like today, a whole plane landed on a highway and had traffic backed up for hours. If we don't tell you, you're going to be in traffic like, why am I stuck in traffic? And, Waze may not tell you, and Apple Maps may not tell you, and Google Maps may not tell you. So it's our job to be like, okay, well, we see this. This is definitely going to, change your ride home. So you got to be mindful. So even coordinating with the traffic person and making sure whatever happens in Atlanta or the world at large, I got to make sure you know about it. And I got to present it to you a way where I'm not talking way above you or anything of the sort. Because at the end of the day, I'm just like you. I have to go to work. I'm hoping to be entertained. If it's a hard day, if it's a great day, I'm just like, hey, we're going to get through it. And all the emotions. If you're just having like a bad mental health day, I'm hoping we do something on the air that makes you smile and makes you laugh. So, on my Sunday program, I try to keep it real light and let you know what's going on in the city. But the Monday through Friday, where I'm the executive producer of the #1 show in Atlanta, Ryan Cameron Uncensored, it's our job to make sure that we inform, we entertain, but we also educate.
And that's so good. And it's inspiring to see somebody that came out of, small state college in Indiana, big presence, but relatively small school, work their way into a position like that. And if you don't hear it at any other point in this interview or at any other point this week, I'm proud of you, my man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And so I don't want to leave this conversation before we talk about a little bit of, if there's somebody that is watching this that is interested in breaking into this sort of an industry, what is maybe the most important thing that you know now that you wish you knew when you were 21, 22, first getting in?
I would say do not wait for your shot. You have to really be ready for the opportunity. Don't wait for someone to hand you that, oh, by the way, here's this. You always got to be ready. I feel like now, especially with radio and the evolution of podcasting and how that's a part of, the landscape of the land, You need to use that to your advantage. Whatever aspect is going to be more than just audio, it's going to be more than just video. You have to be active in your community that you're going to be hopefully serving in, and to understand that you're not just it's the first job you get right out of college or first radio opportunity gig is not going to be the one that you set your flag in. You're going to be there for like 30 years. You're probably going to have to move around. I had to go all the way to California to get my first on-air spot. So it took me a while. It took some sacrifice, and you got to be willing to really trust in your struggle. Like, are you going to make it? Are you going to fold? Or are you going to just like, all right, we got to get this done. And I really believe in this gift that I have. It's not by accident. It's not by mistake. It's not by happenstance. But hey, it's what you believe you're put on this earth to do. And I believe that your gift will always find a way. And I just believe that's what I'm currently living in right now.
And it is really cool to watch it play out, my man. Again, proud of where you come from, proud of where you're going, proud of where you're at right now. And it's been a lot of fun to talk a little bit through this. If you don't mind, I've got a handful of rapid questions for you, known as the how-to cues. You ready for that?
Let's do it.
All right. I want to know the best book that you've read in the last maybe 10 to 12 months. Let's go nonfiction, something that can help people.
I think one of the best ones I've read, and I'll talk because I read articles all the time, but I think one of the best ones I've read all time is Letters to a Young Brother by Harper. I think that kind of changed my trajectory on how I thought of myself as an African American male. When I say I get books all the time, I would start like 2 chapters of it, and then I got to put it down because I got something else. So I can't say I've read a book front to back in a very, very long time, but it's there's a lot of great books out, and it's more so you always got to find something that's gonna make your mind like better overall. And if it's a self-help book, if it's something that'll give you some insight on whatever industry you're looking into, that's what I definitely recommend.
Okay, I can get behind that, and I'll find it and link to it in the show notes as well. Let's talk about the app on your phone that you could not live without.
Right now, I'd probably say Canva. I do a lot of designing for the show and branding for myself. I'm able to do so much with next to nothing. It makes me look a lot better than what I actually am. I'm a like semi-creative, so I'm thinking I'm doing something, but I know I'm just like, it's just getting by. Let's keep moving.
I will echo Canva big time, because you can go into my YouTube channel and find out the moment where I switched from Photoshopping my thumbnails to Canvaing my thumbnails. It's very apparent. So big thumbs up to Canva for sure. They're not sponsoring the show, but they could be. Get in touch with me, Canva.
There we go.
All right. What is the last purchase that you made of less than $100 that has brought a tremendous amount of value to your life?
I'd probably say the microphone I bought from my podcast. So before then, I was like kind of confined to working at the station. I do all my stuff there, but I'm like, okay, you really got to invest in this if you really want it to like take off. So I found a snowball microphone at Best Buy for like $49.99, and I was able to do it from home. I was able to take it, wherever I needed it to be. So that small investment in the career has made a world of difference.
Fantastic. And the final question, where can people find out more about you?
You can follow me on all social media at The Real 6 and the number 5, TheRealSix and the number 5. You can go to my website, SamuelSirmons.com. That's SamuelSirmons. That has everything on there. My About Me contact. You want to book me for speaking engagements or DJing, I do it all. Weddings, birthday parties, bar mitzvahs, divorces, whatever you need me, I got you. We celebrate life, whatever, in all forms. If you starting over, I got you. Even if you want me to DJ while you're taking out the trash, I got you. We can get that done.
That is where it's at.
Follow me, reach out, tap in with me. I'm on LinkedIn, everything.
I will link to a good number of those if you wanna have Sam do the DJing for your trash collection.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Sam, thank you for joining me on the How To Show. It's been a pleasure, my man.
Thank you for having me. Again, thank you for this incredible opportunity, and I'm looking forward to seeing where this takes you, sir. I'm definitely honored to have joined you in this wonderful conversation, and I'm looking forward that we get to see each other real soon next time I'm in Indiana.
I can make that happen. Fantastic, sir.
Yes, sir.
An extra special thanks to Sam for joining me on this week's episode of the show. I know I really enjoyed that, and hopefully you did too. And if you know somebody who is aspiring to break into a career where the competition level is extremely high, share this episode with them, because no matter what industry that is, there are some nuggets of helpful information here that you can take and use. And hey, if you're looking to break into the radio industry, this is right up your alley too. So again, hopefully you got benefit from it. Leave me a note in the comments down below if you especially like something or you heard something that you think can be beneficial to you. So yeah, share the episode with anybody that you think might get benefit from it, and tell them to subscribe too, because this is the How To Show and you ought to do that. You can be the first to know about new content each and every Wednesday when it comes out in long form, and you can check out my shorts that come out pretty much every day now. And I don't mean the shorts I'm wearing, I mean the shorts I'm recording. You can also get in touch with me if you are interested in transacting real estate in the Indianapolis market. You can get in touch with me about that in the comments or at indiedwell.com. Until next time, this is Anthony Drew Gary, host of The How To Show, signing off.